Hello, welcome to the Reframing Mindset podcast. We are clear my head of the thoughts that are preventing clarity, practice my speech, among other things. Episodes range from informative knowledge to funny stories about my experiences, and in the future, maybe include interviews. So subscribe and enjoy. Episodes drop every other day. Okay, now welcome back to Reframe Mindset podcast. My name is Constant Brooks, and this episode going to talk about ironing your clothes. And everybody, they don't know what iron is. Search it up, search it up. Come on. If you reach this far into this podcast, if you reach this phase, I said this is 9 to 5, working, you're employed now. You reach this phase of the podcast. If you reach this phase, you're supposed to know what ironing is. I know what it is, so you're supposed to know what it is. But I'm not really a good person. I'm not really great at ironing. But I have to actually do it because I want my clothes to look fresh. I want my clothes to look as fresh as possible. So I have to actually practice. But what this episode about, I said things to manage your time so that as I said, 9 to 5, you're working basically 9 hours out of the 24 hours per day. When you come home, you have a couple hours per day and then you have to go back to work. And you want to get as much sleep as possible so you're actually fresh at work. And ironing is one of the next task you have to actually maybe do during the week and or during the weekend. And that takes up a lot of time, especially the amount of clothes that you're actually going to iron, you know. And I realized that one the first week that I was actually weekend actually iron all of my clothes, and I realized, wow, it took a lot. It took the whole day to actually do it the way I was doing it. So, but that's just rookie me. Maybe as I get better, I'll be able to do it faster. But I'm just giving you an idea that okay, it might take a good day, especially if you're new. It will take you a good day to actually do it well. But if you practice over time, you will get better. So, by this episode telling that okay, you have to maybe schedule a day to actually do it. And this is one of the other things I say is good to iron in bulk. But as I mentioned that I'll give you a scenario. One of the weekends, um, so I was planning that I'm going to iron on this what was the Sunday, the Sunday before work. And what happened the Sunday was light there was a blackout. The light actually went away. So had no access to the light to actually use iron to actually iron. And that happened for the whole day until maybe in the night. And in the night, what happened was I had the chance to iron one suit of clothes for the next day. And then during the week, what I had to do every night when I come home, I iron one suit. And every night I went to bed late because every night the time that it took to iron the clothes and then do all the other tasks, by the time I finished, it was always after 12 a.m. And then, as I mentioned back then, I was waking up. I had to wake up 4 a.m. So I'm getting less than 4 hours of sleep. So so you give that's a real life scenario of you if you're if one bad move, one thing that's something out of your control, like the light going away, can cause you so much stress, bad things during the week. And if it was a real situation, I could maybe get fired. I could get fired just because of one slip up. So ironing is something that's important to make sure that when you go to work, you look professional, you look ready for it, that you actually want to work. But the, you have to have a strategy. You have to know, okay, similar. I think it's similar to the washing as well. Are not so after you wash near, then I think you'll yeah. So one after you wash, more like you'll be ironing as well because you're going to iron the clothes after it's been cleaned, you know. So after washing clothes, then you'll be ironing. So you have to choose a day when you're free to actually do that. And then I suggest that you do it in bulk because it's energy saving when you do it in bulk, and it's time saving as well because the momentum that you may get from doing the first one, then the second one, and the third one, you would actually get to do it faster. And then when you're finished, you're done. During the For the week, you don't have to really. All I have to do is just basically say, okay, this suit and I'm wearing Monday. I just get my good night's sleep, wake up, shower, everything, and then put on the suit and go. That you're gonna do for the rest of the week. Or if you have maybe have 1 week, 2 weeks worth of clothes, you just say, okay, yo, I'm just you do that for 2 weeks. When the first weekend comes, you don't really have to think about ironing that weekend. Because I said, then you would have more time during that weekend to do other stuff. Then the next weekend now, then you focus on ironing again. Then you're good for the next 2 weeks. So that's basically the idea that I'm giving you. Yeah. That's it. That's it mentally, the mindset that I'm telling you. Just say, okay, yo, if it does do it that way, yeah, time. These are things that I'm doing just to maximize your time so that because you imagine you have 7 days per week, 24 hours per day. And if you there are certain tasks that you do every day, but if you do it a certain way, you'll maximize your week a lot. A lot. So that you know to give you my life now, right now my 8 hours for 5 days during the week, or maybe six, depending on the new shift, is 9 hours of the day is constantly blocked out to focus on work. But the thing about it is the work that I'm doing, I'm getting paid for it, so my time isn't being wasted. I'm actually getting paid for that time. So when I come home now, those those other time now is focused on getting doing my outside, my personal stuff. And you want to be able to be able to do the things that you need to do to keep your life in balance, while also having the time to do things that you want. Maybe travel on the weekend, maybe go to catch up with friends, go on date night and stuff like that. So you want to have the time to do that. So you can just not but you can't do that if basically if on the weekend when it's time to go on date night, you say, "Oh, honey, I have to actually iron the whole weekend." You can't really do that. They want to find a way to actually be able to iron quickly so that you can say, "Okay, Sunday," or maybe you can say, "Oh, Saturday by the end of this by Saturday night we can go on the date. I'm just going to take this day to actually iron so that by the end of the night, by the night, we can actually go on our date night. And then what happens is that you're good for the week. Maybe you can take more dates night during the week because you would have already done the ironing task during the weekend. You can take more date nights. And as I said, more date nights, more opportunity for the relationship to last long because they're more doing more quality time stuff. So but if you don't take the time to free up your personal time, you won't have time to do that. And that's one of the things that break down the relationship. If you have to actually, if you don't have time to spend quality time with each other, you don't get to build a relationship. If every day when you come home from work, I say, "Oh, I have to either I have to be ironing now, honey," or do I have to be washing now, honey? Or I have to be cooking now, honey? And stuff like that. You don't have time to actually build together. So I spend quality time, and the relationship will break down, then you have divorce, all those other stuff. So this is one of the so I guess this episode is a tip for you to maximize your time so that you have quality time to do things that you want to do to build yourself up. To build up the other outside of work stuff. This is it is telling you that okay, you're doing this so that when you leave work, you can do other stuff. You're getting paid now. So you're able to do other stuff to build up yourself. Maybe go relax. You have money to go relax somewhere during the evenings after you left work. go and get a drink or whatnot because they're getting paid. You don't have to when you come home. You don't have to worry about I have to iron before. No, you done ironing tasks already. So you just come home and say all I have to do is just maybe cook up some stuff and then and then do all the other stuff. Go to sleep. If you have a kid, you just say okay, put that kid to bed and stuff like that. I said this is the phase of the podcast that is in now, the adult phase, and uh, these things are just trying to make you have more quality of life as an adult, not as a kid. Mhm. So that's basically it for this episode. Thank you for listening and look forward for the next episode. Mhm.
Well, this is the end of the episode. Thanks for watching and look forward for the next episode. To support this podcast, go to anchor.fm/cssb/support or become a sponsor for this episode. If you have a product that you want to have more exposure, DM me on the Instagram page, Reframing Mindset Podcast, or on Twitter at ReframingP. Either way would help. Thank you regardless for listening, and here's a preview for the next episode.
The 7 week, bro. 7 week. Um, 7 week. Yeah, it was rocky. Rocky as hell, bro. Rocky as hell. Rocky as hell. Because, you know, we're doing the. So this is basically the on the job training part of it where we're doing the real job, but we're getting teach supervised by old people in the business for a longer time. So they're trying to find our faults and trying to make sure that we can become real skilled at the job by the time we reach and actually start doing the job for our full time. Even though we're kind of doing the job full time now, but we're getting we're not really we're not really on their level in the sense that they have more time experience or like certain stuff we still have to really call them to actually help us with because we're still new.